pronunciation focus, and we are going to look at something which is called minimal pairs. So what are minimal pairs, right? Question number one. So minimal pairs are basically two sounds which are really, really similar, and it's just like one sound that makes a difference between them. And they really often confuse English learners logically because they're very similar. So to give you some examples, guys, right? I'm talking about the f and the v. Okay, so for example, fan and van. Yeah, really similar words, but a slight difference. Or the e and the I. So desk and disc. Yeah, and different languages. Learners from different languages will have different problems with minimal pairs, because a lot of it depends on the sounds in your own language. So we're going to look at a selection today. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to pronounce them. We're going to think about the shape your mouth should be doing, your position of your tongue, your lips. And then I'm going to give you some practice sentences so that you can try working with them and developing them. And what I actually really recommend you do is record yourself, okay? Because that's a great way to just sort of hear it and see if you're doing okay and compare the recordings. So we're going to start with these three. I know I said minimal pairs. This is technically a minimal trio, right? Because there are three really similar sounds. So the sounds we're looking at, first of all, are a, and o. Okay? Right? So the first one here, a, is the same sound that we have in cat. The is the sound that we have in cut, and the o is the sound that you'll have in clock. Okay, right. So cat, cut, clock, o. To put that into a sentence which doesn't really make any sense, it's just so you can practice the sounds. The cat cut the clock. Yeah. So try saying that to yourselves. I know your microphones are turned off, but it's fine. Just try saying it to yourself. The cat cut the clock. Cat, cut, cot. Okay? Right, now you'll see that I've given a number for each of these. Yeah? So I've given you a number because I'm going to get you to do a little test. Okay? So if I read this sentence, I want you to tell me which sound you hear. If you hear a, put in number 1. If you hear a, put in number 2. If you hear o, put in number 3. Okay? So this is the sentence. He shut the door, sat down, and put on his socks. Okay? So I want you to think about this word first of all, shut. He shut the door. Which sound am I saying? Number 1, number 2, or number 3? A, or o? I've got a 2, I've got a 3, I've got a 2. I think most people have put 2. Yeah, good work, guys. Okay, so the first one here, shut, is this sound here. Okay, Okay, he shut the door, sat down. Which one are we looking at here? Sat. Number 1, number 1, number 1. Well done. Oh, no, number 1, Monica, not number 2. Sat, okay, cat. And finally, he sat down and put on his socks. Which sound have we got here? Good, number 3. Good work, guys. So we've got shut in like this one here, we've got sat here, and we've got socks here. Yeah. Okay, so in terms of how we're making and producing these sounds, yeah, I'm going to move my microphone a little bit so that I don't knock it. So what I want you to all do, get your hands, okay, jazz hands. And I'd like you to put your hands on your face, like this, okay? And to make the first sound, to make the a sound, we're just going to open our mouths, right? A. Now, to change to the second sound, the sound, all we're going to do, I'm not changing my lips, all we're going to do is bring close our jaw here, okay? So from a, I'm going to go to a. So the only thing that you should feel change with your hands is how open and closed your mouth is, okay? A, ah. Yeah, does everyone feel that change? Yeah, okay. So like I say, your tongue hasn't changed, your lips haven't changed, just that space. Okay, so now if we go to O, right, we're going to do 3 steps now. We're going to go O. So put your hands on your face again. We drop it, O. So to make the O, I need to make a round shape with my mouth, okay? Not oo, O. Okay, like you're surprised. Okay, O. O. So you should notice when we make the O that I open my jaw again. Yeah, do you feel that difference? So let's go from number 1 to number 3 this time. O. O. So when I do this sound, number 1, and then this sound, I don't change my jaw, I just change my mouth. Yeah? Okay. So let's try a different order. Let's do 1, 3, 2. Okay? O, Let's try it that way. Right? O, Okay? Yeah? Everyone happy with those? Give me a thumbs up in the box. Wonderful. Right. These are really worth practicing with. And another thing which is quite important, this second sound here, the in the examples we've seen today, they are words that are spelled with the letter U. But actually very often, it's quite often a word with the letter O. Okay, so to give you an example of that, son, mother, yeah, glove, love, money. Okay, so there's lots of words in English which are spelt with the letter O but use that sound. And a common pronunciation mistake that people make is instead of using that, we use the O. So I say son, mother, money. Okay, all of those should be son, mother, money. Yeah. So it's a good one to practice with, these 3 here. Right. Our next minimal pairs, it's these 2 here, and E. Okay, so for those of you who are not familiar with the phonemic signs, when I've got a symbol like this that has 2 dots, that means it's a long sound. So a way to think about that, imagine you've got some chewing gum in your mouth and you're going to pull the chewing gum out. Okay, so it's not an E, it's an E. Yeah, okay, E. All right, so the first sound here, I, is like ship. Okay, and the second sound, E, is like sheep. Right, so we're going to do the same again. I want you to put your hands on your face. We're going to say the first one, number 1, and the second one, E. So when I'm making number 2, I should be smiling. Yeah, okay, so number 2, E, and number 1, okay, so you can think about like number 2, like you're really happy about something, and number 1, you're actually really not impressed. Okay, E, all right. Okay, so let's look at some examples, right? I live, number 1, I live here, but I have to leave. Right? Try saying that to yourselves, guys. I live here, but I have to leave. Make sure you're making a long sound. E, leave. Okay, so remember there you need to smile. Leave. Okay, we're going to do the same again. I'm going to say the sentence and I want you to tell me if I'm saying sound number 1 or sound number 2. You're going to write it in the chat box. Okay, so here we go. My feet are too big. The shoes don't fit. My feet, what sound is this one? This sound here, number 2, feet. The shoes don't fit. So here we have this sound here. Good, good, good. Okay, let's try another one. I need to fill the box so I can feel happy. I need to fill the box. Right, well done. That's sound number 1. So I can feel happy, which is this sound number 2. Fantastic. Okay, sit on the seat. So which is this sound? Yeah, 1 and 2. Well done. Sit on the seat. Okay, good work. Everyone happy with those? Yeah. So the main difference that we're making here is that E is that nice smile. Okay. If you notice, your tongue is going to move back a little bit, right? When I make sound number 2, E, my tongue should be behind my teeth here, okay? E. And the first one, sh, I, I. My tongue is more or less in the same place behind my teeth, but I'm making that big smile, okay? That's what we need to think about. E. Right. The next sound we're going to look at is we're going to look at a couple where this is the same issue. And it's, again, remember these 2 dots mean it's a long sound. So we're going to have a look at a couple of these long vowel sounds because very often they cause problems, okay? So the sounds we're going to look at here are O. We saw that before, remember, in clock. And O. Okay, O, O. So this sound, imagine that you see a little baby, or if you don't like babies, a little puppy, or whatever you think is cute, okay? And you see something that's really adorable and you go, oh, okay? I don't want to see any oohs, right? Oh, yeah, try the sound, guys. Say it to yourselves. Okay, nice. I'm seeing some nice shapes there. Okay, so this is the O that we have in the sound cot, that short sound, yeah? But here, this is a long sound, caught. So these are 2 different sounds. Cot, caught. Cot, caught. Yeah, good. So remember, this is like the chewing gum, guys. You've got that piece of chewing gum. You're going to pull it out and extend the sound. Okay, so some words which have this long vowel sound, to give you an idea. Court, law, short, worn. Okay, to point out as well, I have a Scottish accent. So in a Scottish accent, we usually pronounce the R sound. I say court, okay, short, warm. But in a different accent, especially in English ones, the R sound disappears. So you hear caught, short, worn, okay? So it can be different. That was a terrible English accent. I apologize to any English accent people listening to me. So it's a slightly different sound, but the important thing is that the vowel has to be long, okay? So if you say these with a short sound instead of a long sound, it really changes the word and it makes it difficult for people to understand you. So if I give you an example, okay? If instead of saying court, I make it short, I say court. And those are 2 different words, yeah? Court, court. This is a good example because I hear people say this incorrectly all the time. Law, with the long sound, law. Law, law. Law, law. Okay, so if I say law, people don't understand me, right? Short, if I use the wrong sound, I say short. Yeah, short, short. Do you hear the difference in these words? And if I say, instead of saying worn, I say what? Worn, what? Okay, they're different sounds. So it's really important to use the long vowel sound, guys, because it will affect your communication. People won't understand what you're saying. Let me show you another example of a long vowel, yeah? So we have the A that we saw before, remember, like the word cat, and the ah. So this one, I want you to think of going to the dentist. What does the dentist say when you open your mouth? Say, ah, okay? So this is like the word we saw here, ah and cat. Ah is like in the word car, right? So again, you've got the 2 dots. That means it's a long vowel, a chewing gum vowel. Okay, so let me give you again some examples with that long vowel sound, guys, right? Heart, car, shark, can't, park. Okay. What you might notice that a lot of these words, what do they have? The letter R. So very often after a long vowel sound, you have the letter R. Okay. And we saw it in the previous examples as well, right? Like court, worn. Right. So again, if I don't make a long vowel, listen to what happens. Yeah. Right. So instead of heart, 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 car, 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 shark, shark. Can't, well, I've put this example, actually, it's a bad example because in my accent, I don't say can't. That's an English one, okay? In a Scottish accent, we actually say can't. So it's a slightly, it's a good example of regional variations. But if you had what's called a received pronunciation accent, okay, sort of a classic English accent, then you would say can't here, okay, instead of can't. Park, park. Okay, so if you say car, it's actually a really different sound to car. And people are going to find it difficult to understand you. Again, in Scotland, we do pronounce that R sound. And I think whether you're in Scotland or not, sometimes it can be easier to pronounce the R instead of saying car, which can be a bit hard to say. You can say car. Just make sure that you're elongating and you're making the vowel long, right? Okay, the next ones we're going to look at today, guys, are J and Ch. Yeah, so these are consonant sounds. So far, we've been looking at vowel sounds. Now we're going to look at some consonant sounds. So these are what we call voiced and unvoiced consonants. So what that means is the J sound, like in Jeep, I produce that in my throat. Okay, I make a vibration. You can test this. Put your hand on your throat and you say J, J. You should feel the vibration. Okay, but if I take another word like cheap, I'm not making this sound in my throat. I'm making this sound in my mouth. So if I put my hand on my throat again and I say ch, 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 comparing it to j, 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 you should feel a difference in the vibration. Okay, and it's where you're producing the sound. So my mouth is doing exactly the same thing, ch, ch, and you should feel ch, your tongue coming into the middle ch, ch, and being behind your teeth. Okay. Like cha-cha-cha, right? It's a good way to practice it. And if I make the J sound, my mouth is doing the same thing, but instead of producing the sound here, I'm producing the sound here, okay? So I spilt gin, number one, on my chin, right? Okay, so I spilt gin down here, gin on my chin, right? Try saying both words, gin, chin. Okay, so like we said, we are making the sound, the first one here and the second one here, yeah? Right, so let's try it again, okay? You're gonna write in the chat box if you think it's sound number 1, J, or sound number 2, Ch. Okay, he told a joke and I choked on my food. He told a joke and I choked on my food. Good. So the first sound is number 1 and the second sound is number 2. Well done. Okay, we made a batch of badges. We made a batch of badges. Yeah, so the first sound is number 2, well done, and the second sound is number 1. Okay, here's a long one for you. There was a surge in searches about cherries and jokes. So let's try the first one here. There was a surge in searches. Which is this and which is this? Good, 1 and 2, well done. So this one here, surge. The first one, search. The second one. Okay, and then if we do the next ones, about cherries and jokes. Okay, number 2, good, and number 1. So ch and j. Well done. Okay, and we're going to finish today with some final consonant sounds and something called a tongue twister. So this is when it's something which is difficult to say quickly, right? And tongue twisters can be really great to help you practice your pronunciation. So we're going to look at these 3 sounds, which are very often represented by the letter S. Okay, so we have s, sh, and z. Okay, so s is like this one here in sun, s, like a snake. Okay, s. So to do that, you should feel your tongue is pressing up a little bit in your mouth, not quite touching the roof of your mouth, and resting between your teeth. The second sound is the sh of should. So think about when you want someone to be quiet. Yeah? Shh. Right? Shh. So when I do this, my lips are going to go round a little bit. Shh, shh, shh. Yeah? Shh. Try moving between the 2. Shh. 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 Put your hands on your face again. Feel what's happening to your jaw. So what you should feel is how your tongue is kind of moving back and forth a little bit there. And the last sound we're looking at here is the z sound, like you would get in nose. So this is a bit of a nasal sound. Z, z, z. And you should feel a vibration. Z, z, z. And this part of your tongue is touching the top, okay? Z, z of your mouth, right? So try saying these all again, hands on your face, okay? S, sh, z. Yeah? Okay, so here's your challenge for you. We're going to finish with a tongue twister. Yeah? So I'm going to say it slowly one time, and then you can repeat it with me. So I've highlighted all the colors for you. So if you see an orange S, that's because it's got to be a S. If you see a blue one, like here, that's because we're making the sh. And if you see a Z, that's because we're making the Z. Okay? So when you see the letter S, especially at the end of a sentence, it's very often this sound. An end of a word, sorry, not a sentence. Okay? So cells, for example, not cells. Okay? So I'm going to say this slowly, and then I'm going to say it a second time. The second time, I want you to say it with me. Okay. She sells seashells on the seashore. Okay? This time with me, guys. She sells seashells on the seashore. Okay? We're going to do the same. I'll say it one time. The second time, you join in. If she sells seashells on the seashore, if she sells seashells on the seashore, where are the shells she sells on the seashore? Okay, try with me. Where are the shells she sells on the seashore? Okay, I'm going to say all of it together, and you can say it with me, right? She sells seashells on the seashore. If she sells seashells on the seashore, where are the shells she sells on the seashore? Okay, let's try it one more time, but a bit faster, right? She sells seashells on the seashore. If she sells seashells on the seashore, where are the shells she sells on the seashore? Okay, that's your homework. Try and practice it to get that fast. Right, everything we've done today, guys, Even if it's a difficult sound for you to produce, you can produce it. Okay? All humans have the same physiology. We have the same abilities to create sounds. It's just that you're not used to hearing or producing those sounds. Yeah? So I want you to think about it as training. You have to take your mouth to the pronunciation gym. Okay? The more you practice this, the easier it's going to get. And I also really recommend practicing the sounds in front of a mirror, because when you're looking at a mirror, you're going to see what shapes you're making with your mouth, right? So think about sort of when you're making that look at what's happening with your mouth if you're pronouncing it correctly.